Oh, hey, baby. What you doing, Switch Light? You're looking so fine.
Oh, hey there, Switchy Poo Poo.
Look at that turquoise and the soft buttons, so sweet.
Oh, hey, Switchy Poo. You talking always a sweet talker, but we both know that you're so full of downloaded games, don't we?
Oh, you got me, girl. You got me. How about you and I enjoy this sweet Nintendo Switch games on this cup? Oh, turquoise Switch Light.
Oh, Switchy Poo. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness graciousness.
All right, enough of that. You have a dirty, perverted video game mind, and I love it. Let's get to the matter of this video. Primary, secondary, primary, secondary, secondary, primary, primary. I've got a beef with primary. Yes, primary, secondary, multiple units, switch units in your household. How do you handle getting an additional Switch unit and the games that you buy on the Nintendo Switch platform? What can you run? So let's dive into it a little bit. Guys, I'm Jim the Game Guru. And if you're just like me, you may have a Switch Lite and a regular Switch. And it becomes very, you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, how do the multiple Switches work? How do games that you buy in your grandiose game library, how are they able to be downloaded on each individual Switch? And can they be played at the same time? So first things first, there's a primary and a secondary unit for Nintendo Switches. In my case here, I have the Switch Lite and the regular Switch, and this one is the primary. And every time you add a new Switch to your collection, you can either make them a primary or secondary unit. So the primary unit, why is there a primary unit? I have no idea. It's just something that Nintendo really wanted to do. They couldn't just make all the units just standalone. They had to make a primary and a secondary to control the games, the access to the game. So whenever you jump on a secondary unit, you play the game, it will actually end up pausing the same game on a different unit if you're logged in with the same account. How do you make a unit like I did with this one a primary unit? So because this one was primary when I first had the Nintendo Switch, and then later on I bought this, and it's really, really easy to do. What you do is you'll end up going to the eShop, and then there's a section where your icon is on the top right, and you go to the top right, you click on your icon, and then there's an account information section, and you scroll down the right side where all that credit card, that beautiful financial credit card information is that you use to buy your games, and then eventually you'll get to a spot where it says, hey, do you want to deregister this as the primary console, if it's the primary console? If you deregister it, and you remove that console as the primary console, like I did on this one right here, then what I did was on this console, I went to the eShop, and as soon as you access the eShop on this console, it made this the primary unit. So now how do you get concurrent two users to run the same game from your video game library? And the answer is by installing the game on both units, one as your primary, the other one as your secondary, and then creating a second Nintendo account. Yes, so you have to create a second Nintendo account that will run the game that was downloaded and installed with a different user, with a primary. So in this case, I have Aliana Switch Lite. And what I did was I logged in to this Switch Lite with my primary, with my account, and I made this one the primary device. So this unit here always has to check online. Any secondary device, Switch device, always has to check online to see if the games are playable from your library. And then what I did was I created another Nintendo Switch account for her specifically. And when she logs into this unit, she logs in and plays the games with this account, but the games are unlocked on the primary unit. Anytime they're installed, the primary unit from that account, they're always unlocked. So she can go in the car with this anywhere and be able to play the games without it checking online. The secondary unit has to every 3 hours, it checks online to see if it can play the game from your library. And I was okay with that because this is primarily in my dock most of the time. I do play this on the go, or if I have to get up and go in a different room, I'll go and play in a different room, or if I'm going somewhere that has really crappy internet, then I'll end up playing, as long as I have, it could be the slightest of internet, just this teensy weensy little bit of internet, and as long as I have a little bit of internet so it can actually access online to verify the game, then I should be able to fire it up and play it, no problem. So, do you need a Switch Online account for the other users? So in my case, what I did was I set up a family Switch Online membership, and that allows you, I think, allows you up to 5 individuals to join that group. So my daughter obviously is in that group. I also have my brother-in-law in that group, and that way they can get online using the online services for different games. Right now with these 2 units, I could fire up any game simultaneously using Aliana's account and my account. Now, can those games be played at the same time together in the same session? And the answer to that is, it depends. It absolutely depends. Because if certain games, like first-party games like Animal Crossing or Mario Kart 8, those games will have a wireless play, right? They can connect wirelessly from unit to unit. When they connect wirelessly unit to unit, they will actually check to see who owns the game for that game that was installed on that unit. So in those cases, you always get that beautiful communication error on both those titles. I've tried both Mario Kart 8 and Animal Crossing. But things for like, I don't know, like Minecraft, for example. Minecraft uses 2 accounts. It's a pain in the ass, but it uses 2 accounts where you log in with an Xbox account, and then you also have to have a Switch Online account. Minecraft requires a Switch Online account to be able to connect console to console, as well as a Xbox account, Microsoft account, in order to connect sessions. So with Minecraft, we have no problem. We can fire Minecraft on both of these together, same time, and then link them through our Xbox accounts, connecting to the same world, same session and playing. So it all depends. Now, Switch Online accounts, are Switch Online accounts required for wireless play? And that, again, that is another thing. It depends on the title. It depends on the title. Does the title allow direct console to console play through wireless connection? And does it require a Switch Online membership? And does it check to see what user installed the game on what unit? I don't have one specifically that I know of that can do that without a Switch Online account. Pretty much everything I've played has got some kind of Switch Online membership required. But there may be a title out there that I don't know that will actually allow it. I feel like this is a very archaic system. I feel like Nintendo really kind of botched this up. I don't think it's realistic to say that, especially when parents have multiple children in a house. And in my case, I have 2 kids. And to sit there and buy a game, especially that $60 game, over and over and over again, just so I can satisfy their multiple Switch requirement, is just absolutely absurd. So what I would probably do, and what I would find a little bit more favorable, is if Nintendo went to more of a family or household ownership to games. I feel like the individual ownership of games is so archaic. It's kind of stupid. And it's getting to the point now, well, you know, my kids don't have jobs. They're not old enough to have jobs. And why do I need to buy multiple Switch games? I mean, multiple copies of the same game just so that each one of my kids can play. They should, what I would love to see in the future is I would love to see a family edition of games. So when you buy a game on the eShop, hey, do you want this to be an individual copy or would you like this to be a family edition? And for like maybe like $10 more. $10 more, you throw your $10 in, you upgrade the game to a family edition of the game. And then since we've already got a family membership package that you put your kids under or anybody else in your family within the same household, why not utilize that so that when they're logged in as one of those family members from the Switch Online membership and they're running a family edition version of the game, that it then can check, say, hey, is this person part of the family member? It is. Is it a family edition game? Okay, allow it to run, no restrictions, wireless play access, all good. And they could easily make more money. They, you know, throw it in for like $10 more. You know, hey, I buy a $19 game. Do you want to upgrade for another $10, $29 now to make it a family edition? Hey, a $60 game, it's now $70. I think that would work beautifully, and I think they can make that work. I think it's a little more realistic. It still gives people the option also to kick back into an individual copy and not spend the extra if they don't want to spend the extra on a family version. But right now, the way it is, it's a little hokey. It's just, you know, but it is what it is. Okay? So, to summarize everything that I've kind of said already, so what you do is every time you buy a Switch and you add your account, there'll always be secondary Switches, consoles. Any console that is a primary console for your account has the games unlocked when you download them on there, no verification. The other Switches will require verification. They will also pause the game. Whenever you launch a game on different units, they will pause the game if you're logged in with the same account, running that game with the same account on multiple Switches. And you can only have a maximum of 2 users running the same game from the same library, because one of the users is a different user that's running the game on the primary console. Like in this case, my daughter's account is running the game in this console that I downloaded, and I made this my primary console. And then the second being the secondary console that I run the same game with my account. If a third person was added to the mix that had a third Switch, unfortunately, there's only one primary unit. There's only one unit that the game can be unlocked on. So in that case, that person would not be able to play the same game at the same time, which would require a separate purchase of the game. So I hope this video shed some light on how you can get multiple games running. I know I didn't do a screen share as far as the deregistering, but it's actually very, very simple as far as going into the eShop, finding it under your account information, just deregistering. The big key is just knowing that you can only have a max of 2 different accounts running the games, one on a primary unit, like I said earlier. And if you go beyond the 2, you won't be able to run the same game concurrently. You have to buy it again. But that's it, guys. I am Jim the Game Guru. I will see you later. If you're new on this channel, please subscribe. See ya.